Okay, you were talking about Ric Flair.
So I do when there was a guy when Rick was called to take me on. So when Rick gets down to get in position, he whispers in my ear, "Take it easy on me, Bob, would you please?" And I went to myself, "Screw you." So of course I pinned Rick, and that didn't go over so well with Vern Gagne, Billy Robinson. And so then they put Ken Patera against me. And I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to pin this guy. So I'm going to escape as best I can. So I escaped from him. Well, that didn't go over too good either. So Vern looked at Billy Robinson, who was sitting up on the top turnbuckle. He had jet black hair. Had one eye, only had one eye. He had a glass eye and looked, I mean, amazingly tough. And I had seen him on television, of course. I was a wrestling fan. So he jumps down off the turnbuckle and walks around me and calls me every possible name that's ever been called to somebody, and looked me right in the face and said, "Let me see what you got against me." And so he said, "Get down on all fours." So when I did, he dropped his shin off the back of my ankle.
The back of your leg?
Tried to break my foot or my ankle. And the first thing I thought about was, how's my father gonna roof tomorrow? Because I came from a roofing job. How am I gonna help him? Because I won't be able to get up on the ladder.
Did you think your ankle was broke right then?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was just burning. And so I just kind of went berserk, and I went after him. And we just kind of mauled each other pretty good. And I had no idea what kind of a fighter Billy Robinson was. I knew he was a great wrestler on television. So they broke us apart, and I had just about to cinch in the guillotine on him, because that was a pretty good amateur wrestler. And they broke us. Vern saw that, and he jumped in and took us apart, got all the guys to break us apart, and took me outside the ring and out of the barn, and he said, "Damn kid, where'd you learn how to fight like that?" I said, I guess I just lost my mind. I'm sorry, but he was trying to break my leg or something, and I got to go to work tomorrow with my dad. He goes, "What's your dad do?" He goes, "He's a roofer." "Well, what's his name?" "What's your name?" And I said, "My name's Bob." "Bob what?" "Bob Remus." He said, "Your dad, Rudy Remus?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "He put the roof on my house." I said, "I know, I helped him put the roof on your house."
Oh my God.
So he said, "Well, damn, say hi to your dad, but have you ever thought about being a professional wrestler?" I said, "Well, guy by the name of, who else was it? Cosmo Vasari was there.
Oh, wow.
A couple other chiseled Hawaiian kid that we all loved because he was the hero type wrestler. But, so anyway, so I go home and tell my dad, read the newspaper. I was trying to see the wrestling
Results.
and the upcoming match. So I could see my name was in the paper. So every day I would look, and this cute little redheaded bartender we started talking, got to know each other, and finally on a Friday she said, "It's in the newspaper." I said, "What?" She said, "The wrestling ad, the ad for the wrestling." I said, "Oh, where is it?" And there's a cigarette, stood up, put his book down, and went, "I'm Jack Briscoe, world heavyweight champion." And I said, "Yes, you are." And I said, "I'm Bob. You're Bob Remus. I know who you are." Reputation that I never knew I had, that I was a shooter.
That's great.
So
what year was that?
That was 1972.
Wow.
72, 73, something like that. Or Harley raced.
God rest his soul.
Harley raced. He was the world champion, and over here, I wouldn't be sitting here without Harley race.
That was an education right there. Oh, yeah. Wrestling him for.
I wrestled Harley race ovation when people would be like Don Owens had a brother, Elton Owens.
I was doing Hart this time. What was your favorite WWE match? Doesn't matter what year or.
Probably being part of WrestleMania 1, because if WrestleMania 1 had not been successful, we wouldn't be here now. And so that's always been it wasn't so much the matches were that great, I just went out twice on it. I had King Kong Bundy against S.D. Jones, and then I came back, changed jackets, and went out with Greg Valentine against the Junkyard Dog.
For the Intercontinental title, right?
To be on part of WrestleMania, because like so many of the big stars you see now never had that opportunity. And if that hadn't been successful, like I said, I don't know if there'd be a WrestleMania 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 39, like which is taking
The match.
I think I'd have to say the Kiss My Foot match with Bret Hart. That was a classic, right? That's the thing that I remember the most about that was the build-up. It was so much fun doing doing all the insults to Bret and his family, and then we did Terry, and I'm reading off his list. I said, "Yeah, wait till Bret tastes my foot. Look at the callus I got here, Vince. Look at this hammer toe. Nobody else has got a hammer toe like this." So, somehow, and I couldn't do it today if I say it to save my life, but somehow Bret took my leg and my foot and put my own foot in my mouth. And I still today can't.
That's hearing.
Looking right in the mirror, and I went, and I blew all of that out onto the mirror, and Vince thought I really threw up on camera,
Yeah.
and he thought that was the greatest thing ever, with Bret Hart. And then the great thing about that, after the bad, all the bad stuff that happened to my oral hygiene after that was the way we brought in Isaac Yankem, who later as my dentist,
Right.
because he had to fix my.
I have to say, probably my alley fight with Pat Patterson, only because Vince's father was the one that came up with it, and we had this Cobra Clutch challenge that I used to do, and anybody could get out of the Cobra Clutch got $5,000.
Yep.
So finally, Pat and I went into the challenge, and Pat just about got out of it, but lo and behold, he didn't. And I saved my $5,000. And it was funny because we showed the check on the television, and people started calling in and said, "There ain't enough money in that. Wear whatever you want to wear in the ring. There's no time limit, and there's no referee." I said, "No referee?" Never been in a match without a referee. So anyway, Ernie Roth was my manager. I called him the General, the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, Ernie Roth. So I was walking to the ring.
the bodyguard over there
For the Shaw.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with General Adnan, Adnan El Casey. He was my manager, an amateur wrestler. He was like a god.
Yeah.
But when Saddam took over, he was getting rid of everybody. He got taken to
Oh,
a town
gosh.
to promote Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
He hated Saddam Hussein, and here his whole family got killed. And what a trooper he was! Oh my gosh!
Now, my last question is going to be the Hall of Fame, when you got inducted. King, I'll start with you. What year did you get inducted, and who was the person who inducted you into the Hall of Fame?
The year was 2007, and I'll never forget. I got a call from Vince McMahon, which you know something's bad when you get a call from Vince McMahon. It's got to be something wrong. And he just told me, he said, "King, we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame this year." And the first words out of my mouth, I went, "No." He said, "What do you mean, no?" I said, "Well, no, I'm not ready yet, And because then I told him, I said, "I had, King, this doesn't mean that at all. We just want to honor what you've accomplished up till now. You and JR mainly, but about your commentary." This was at a time in 2007, they were doing, the part of the show was live on USA Network, maybe the last hour or something like that. I didn't know of anybody. I mean, like one time, who was it? Maybe, was it Hulk had
Arnold.
Oh,
he
yeah.
had
Sylvester Stallone, yeah. So, and naturally that got on TV and everything. Well, I'm thinking, and I mentioned Lance Russell, and they told me that they just didn't feel like Lance was nationally known enough to be involved. I really hated that because I thought he would have been perfect. But so then when they told me they needed somebody nationally known, I just said, what can I do here? Because I wanted to be on that show, the part of the show that's going to be seen nationwide. So I said, I had a friend out in Hollywood. Matter of fact, just talked to him yesterday, Mike Dacey, and he's an agent. And I called up Mike and I said, can you find somebody that can, I just told him the whole story. I said, I want to get somebody to come to Detroit and induct me into the Hall of Fame that has a big enough name that would make sure that I'd be on our show on USA. That's exactly how it happened. He calls me back 2 days later. He says, what about William Shatner? And I said, are you freaking kidding me? William Shatner, Captain Kirk from Star Trek? He said, yeah. I says, Jerry, I just want to know one thing. I said, what's that? He said, was I your first choice? I said, of course you were my first choice. Without a doubt, this is the greatest thing in my life, right? And so anyway, sure enough, they fly him to, I think it was Detroit.
It was.
Far away is the teleprompter because my eyes are not that great. And I said, we don't have teleprompters. And he just went like this. What do you mean you don't have teleprompters? I said, we don't have teleprompters. They'll write you you told me about it not too long ago when I interviewed him after a space flight. But he said he goes out and they had a piece of paper that if he had to read it, he would literally have to hold it up like this, which he finally did during the induction. He started trying to talk and he's trying to read this and he finally had to pull it closer and closer, and the audience started chanting, "You don't know him." And I'm back there, I'm just
done it in 2004. And we were the first class to get the rings, so we all had. That was a pretty cool deal. Pat Patterson was the one that inducted me.
Yeah.
So about
Yeah.
and he puts his glasses on and he's and did you know that Bob was in it?
Oh no.
And it was just
I think it did the same thing with
Bobby Heenan, and he just was so bad that Bobby got up and made fun of every speech. It was hilarious.
And he said, Jimmy, we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame. It's 2005. And I said, Mr. Ross, are you sure you're not trying to talk to Bret Hart? And Jimmy, he goes, no, you're the one going in. I thought he was trying to reach Bret. And so it was a thrill for me. And they said, well, who do you want to induct? I said, there's only one person, the King. He's the one that got me into business. I want to make sure he's the one that takes me out. And so that's the way I did it. So it just all went bam, 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 boom, boom. So it was great.
Yeah, side note, I watched WrestleMania 3 on the WWE Network, now Peacock, and I heard from Mary Hart. She thought that you and Bret were related because of the last name.
Right,
sir.
Right. And then,
A lot of people do.
but everybody did. It was just a funny thing. Same name. Then Neidhart was put with us too, and he was part of their family. And Neidhart, Bret Hart, Jimmy Hart. You should see when me, Neidhart, Bret Hart, and Owen Hart stayed at the same hotels.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't even drink or do drugs or nothing. Not that they did either, but they might have drank a little bit, but no drugs. But all of a sudden, I'd get these $50 or $60 bills on my room. I go, what the heck was this right here? I don't even.
That had to be Owen. That had to be Owen Hart.
It was.
Right?
I didn't even eat in the restaurant last night. And all of a sudden, I got all this bill, and so it was crazy back then. But it was a great time. Think about it. Where could you walk into a dressing room, and over to my right, you got Sergeant Slaughter over there getting ready. You got the honky-tonk man tuning the guitar. You got Jake the Snake Roberts with Damien. You got the British Bulldogs feeding Matilda. You got, Hulk over there cutting one of his shirts up that he's going to rip off that night. Andre the Giant playing cards with Arnold Skolin. You got the King over there looking for his crown everywhere. Going, where did I put my crown? I mean, this was our office 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I mean, it was just unbelievable. The names, the biggest names from the territories and everything. And it was just so great when you look back on it. So I wouldn't trade anything for that for the world.
To back their work together because they worked so well off of each other.
Well, Bobby Heenan, though,
He was good
He was good.
with Gorilla, but you know.
You know who was good too was Vince. Vince was
Oh,
doing his stuff too. I thought
that's-
he was
that's
great
a
back
lot
in
of,
the
you know,
day.
team.
Yeah, of back in the day, we would go into the studio and we'd do the green screen opening, you know, and it would look like the crowd behind us. But
Was the blooper tape?
no, this one wasn't. But yeah, I've seen those two. This was just me and not me and Gene. It was me and Gorilla. And I swear, I don't even remember working with Gorilla.
But I was talking earlier about how we used to do promos in hotels and wherever we could do them because we had so many to do. And one night, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're at a hotel, and we're all like, you know, wishing we could get this thing over with. And I came up with the idea. I said to everybody who was there, I'm not sure if Jerry was there, he'll remember if he was. I said, how about $20? Everybody put $20 in the pot, and whoever can make Gene crack up gets the money. And they all said, okay, let's do it. So if you ever can find that, I think it's going around, but there's a blooper tape of myself, Kamala. I'm not sure if Jerry.
No, I was not in on
You
that.
weren't in on it? Kamala started speaking English.
Oh.
I saw it.
Gene is like, oh my God, he speaks English.
But he didn't crack up on that one?
Yeah, he didn't break up. He kind of chuckled a little bit, but mine, I actually won the money because I said I'm going to say everything wrong, you know. and he was like, listen to me. The whole role of all of us to do those promos.
Well, guys, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to.
Thank you.
Well, that takes care of it.
Enjoyed it.
Enjoy it.
Well, for those of you who are coming down to the Missouri Athletic Club tonight, you'll be able to see these three gentlemen, along with Cowboy Bob Morton, and then they're going to have some good wrestling after that, and interviews with these guys during the night.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.